YouTube, we are back at it again with another video, another reaction. And yeah, this one is gonna be another disaster. Honestly, this is a disaster that I've heard of but never really looked into. And yeah, it's pretty fucked up. So let's get into it, man. Also, I just want to let you guys know, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what I should react to next. Let me know down in the comments what disasters I should cover next. Let's get right into it. This one is going to be the Disney World Monorail incident. Honestly, I've heard of this one, but never looked into it, and I don't really know the details. I don't even know, spoiler, if this is like fatal. I don't know if the people survived. I don't know. I mean, if they survived, man, fuck. God bless. I mean, let's get right into it.
On the 5th of July, 2009, at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, two ride trains collided, resulting in the death of one staff member. This fatal crash, however,
oh my God,
did not—
look at this. I thought this was all one train. No, this is the head of one train and the head of another. Oh my gosh, dude.
take place on a roller coaster or other thrill ride, but instead on the resort's monorail system, designed to transport guests around and between the parks. The monorail system at Walt Disney World was installed in 1971 and expanded several times during the 1970s and 1980s. By the end of 1988, it consisted of 3 loops with a total of 6 stations along the way, a configuration that has remained unchanged ever since. 2 of these loops are dedicated to the Magic Kingdom section of the resort. One of these carries an express service that ferries guests between a central transportation and ticket hub and the Magic Kingdom itself. The other is a resort line, which stops at several locations around the Magic Kingdom. The 3rd loop is separate from these 2 lines and serves the Epcot section of the resort. As a passenger, if you wish to go from the Epcot loop to either of the Magic Kingdom loops, you must disboard and change trains through the Transportation and Ticket Centre. However, for the purposes of managing the system, it is possible to move trains between the loops. This is done on a routine basis using a switch in the track and a joining spur between the different lines. A number of parties are responsible for managing these track switches. On board each monorail train is a pilot who is, of course, responsible for driving the train. A supervisor based in a central control room is responsible for providing the pilot with instructions, and a panel operator in another control room is responsible for switching on and off power in the track and activating the track switches.
So, in other words, this should not have happened. I mean, there's multiple people that oversee this entire event. How the fuck is there an accident in this? If there's all these people that oversee the traffic, activate the switches, it's not even just a pilot. How the fuck is this happening? I don't understand it. Like, that seems like negligence to me.
All parties are in constant radio contact. The incident took place at 2 AM on the 5th of July 2009.
2 AM?
While most parts of the park were generally closed by this time of night, the monorails continued to run in order to allow guests to get back to their hotels.
Right, what the fuck, it's late.
3 trains were in operation on the Epcot line at the time: Monorail Pink, Monorail Purple, and Monorail Coral. Monorail Pink was ready to be taken out of service for the night. To be able to get back to the maintenance area where trains were usually parked when not in use, it would need to move from the Epcot line to the Magic Kingdom Express line. The first part of this operation went smoothly. Monorail Pink moved past the spur track joining the 2 lines and came to a complete halt, then reported in to the supervisor that it had done so. The supervisor in turn contacted the panel operator and asked them to switch the track so that Monorail Pink could back up onto the spur line. This is where something went wrong. The panel operator cut power to the Epcot line, ready to make the switch, but was then distracted by 2 almost simultaneous radio calls relating to other trains. After dealing with these, the panel operator returned power to the Epcot line, incorrectly thinking that he had already made the switch.
Oh shit.
He had not.
Oh my
panel
god,
operator-
dude. Fuck. So he just got distracted on a call on the radio, and then it was a lapse of judgment. He thought he switched the train from one side of the track to the other, but he didn't. Holy fuck, man. And then he just turned the power back on.
Contacted the supervisor. The supervisor contacted Monorail Pink and cleared the pilot to back up onto the spur line. The pilot of Monorail Pink began to back up. Of course, since the track had not actually been switched, the train didn't back up onto the spur track, but instead moved back along the Epcot line. Running along the Epcot line in a conflicting direction was Monorail Purple, which had a single pilot and 6 passengers on board. The pilot of this train would not have had long to react, but in the few moments he did have, he put the train into reverse. His final act was clearly intended to protect the passengers on board from danger. At 2 AM, the trains collided and came to a halt, partially inside the Ticket and Transportation Centre.
No.
The rearmost cab of Monorail Pink and the front cab of Monorail Purple were crushed and entangled, trapping the pilot of Monorail Purple.
Oh my god.
Despite the
Bro, this is like the definition of your front end, like where your engine is literally in the back of someone's trunk. Like when somebody rear ends somebody in a car and it's like as bad as could be, like this, dude, this is fucking terrible. Look at this, bro. I mean, just look at all this debris. Oh man. And there was a person here. Holy shit. They're dead, right? Like there's no way they survived that.
best efforts of passengers and staff, he could not be saved.
Whoa.
The victim of this incident was 21-year-old Austin Wenenberg. He was a popular and well-liked young man,
Damn.
described by those who knew him as a genius and a perfect son.
Fuck.
Following his death, he was remembered fondly by family, colleagues, and even by hundreds of guests who had the pleasure of meeting him during their time at Walt Disney World. Disney were...
He tried to save the passengers by putting the train in reverse, and that could have been all that saved them. Because if he would have died, like if that train would have kept going, I mean, maybe it would have been worse, dude. Holy shit, man. Wow.
quick to determine that no part of the ride system was malfunctioning. The monorail was up and running again the very next day.
Oh my god.
Even as an investigation took place.
That shit started the next day.
The National Transportation Safety Board compiled a report, noting that there were many things which could, and perhaps should, have prevented the collision. For example, the monorail was, like many attractions, fitted with a computerized blocking system, which would prevent 2 trains from entering the same block of track. However, this system routinely had to be deactivated when reversing a train onto the spur track between loops, and so could not prevent this accident from taking place. Equally, the supervisor might have been able to determine that the switch had not gone as planned, had they been in the control room at the time of the accident.
What?
Unfortunately, they had been out of the room, possibly at a nearby food outlet, and had been relying on radio contact only to manage the few trains on the system.
No.
Perhaps the pilot of Monorail Pink might have noticed that they were on the wrong track, but the 2 tracks were visually very similar. Combined with partially fogged up windows and low ambient light, it was determined that it would have been very difficult for the Monorail Pink pilot to realise that they were on the wrong track. Even then, guidance existed stating that before backing up a monorail train, pilots should move from the cab at the front end of the train to the cab at the rear. However, this was not a practice that was typically required or requested by supervisors, even though it was technically on the books. Accordingly, it was not done on this occasion. Finally, the panel operator might have noticed that they had not correctly switched the track, as they had access to a video feed of the switch. However, it was established practice to check this only before making the switch to ensure that no train was in the way. The panel operator had never been briefed to check the video feed after making the switch to ensure that they had done so correctly. At every stage there was an opportunity to avert disaster, and at every stage this opportunity was narrowly missed.
This could have been completely avoided. This could have been completely avoided, and also this probably made these jobs, the supervisor, the operator, all these jobs, the pilot, way more serious. They probably buckled down right after this and were like, no, we're not doing it that way at all. It's just putting people at risk.
A slew of changes were made by Disney in the aftermath of the accident. A spotter is now required to be present in the rear-facing cab whenever a monorail train reverses. All staff receive extra training. Window defoggers are used. More live video feeds covering switches have been installed, and a second shop panel operator must verify each switch visually before the go-ahead can be given for a pilot to move. As a precaution, the practice of allowing guests to ride in the front cab of the monorail has also been discontinued.
Wow.
All these changes, and more besides, make the monorail at Walt Disney World safer than it ever has been. Interestingly, only a small portion of each train involved was destroyed in the incident. The undamaged portions were repurposed, becoming Monorail Teal and Monorail Peach, both of which remain in service to this day. Since the 5th of July, 2009, the system has transported almost 150,000 people per year without another deadly incident.
Damn, it was just him. Bro, it was just him. He was the only person that died since then. That's fucking crazy, bro.
That's the story of the one fatal crash in the Walt Disney World monorail's history. Compared to other attractions within the resort, the monorail seems like a relatively simple and unassuming machine. There are no sharp gradients, no special effects, only moderate speeds and a very simple route. But this simplicity is deceiving. Even the most basic ride is, in fact, an incredibly complicated network of procedures and systems. Systems which must, as this incident demonstrates, be as carefully managed as any other.
Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, I don't even know who to be upset with. It's just you hear stuff like that and you go, oh, this could have been completely avoided, man. All these regulations and half of the stuff that was supposed to be done wasn't. It's like, man, what the fuck? That kid did not deserve to die from that. Like, it wasn't his fault at all, really, you know? It really wasn't. Oh, that was gnarly. Well, YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you're new. And yeah, again, let me know down in the comments what video I should react to next. Apex are out.